The archive is mostly Parkinson. Vintage prints, they're called vintage prints now, prints that were printed between 1950 and 1964. We have this fantastic portfolio that I want to keep together at all costs. I mean, they're unique prints. Yes. A complete body of work which is unique and exciting and historical. And more, I mean, it's only 23 years or 20 years or something we've been doing it, but the perspective of the print over that time has changed so much, the importance of it historically. My mother thought he was a fantastic photographer, which is surprising because it was just post-war. But she noticed him because she was a land girl, and she was very beautiful, wanted to be sophisticated, and he was one of the first photographers to take girls out of the studio and let them run with their hair wild and be, love. And when she had me, which is obviously 20 years later, 10 years later, I studied photography, and I was aware of him through her. So he was one of the first photographers that I thought I would like to work for. Girls weren't assistants in those days, but he wanted. He looked at my photographs and was surprised and amused because they emulated his. And I was lucky enough, 3 months after I'd met him, he contacted me and wanted me to work for him. He was charismatic and, well, when you're 18, and you have a mentor who is just an incredible photographer, a man at the sort of height of his career, in the position that he was, it was just an incredible experience. Yes. But I think of what he's, how he actually operates and how he, of his relationship with the models and the women that he photographed, or men, he loved women. He had a specific attitude towards women, and he loved just to show their freedom and their love and their beauty. If he did anything seductive, it was so subtly seductive. He would have a little bit of titty showing, perhaps, through a lace dress, or, and even the most sophisticated of women would be happy to be just slightly seductive, in his hands they felt safe. I suppose it takes a long time to understand men, doesn't it? I look at him in a different perspective now, 50 years on. I focus very much on him. But I see an awful lot of influences in his photography that he must have influenced a lot of photographers along the way. The physical aspect is, spiritual isn't the word, it's something which I refer to about, it's like any object, any piece of furniture, anything has a presence. It has a presence of who was involved, the human person who made it. Even if it's a pebble on the beach, you've picked it up and it's, prehistoric pebble, and you've held it. With these prints, Parkinson held them, he touched them, etc., etc. And I've got a thing about touching back in history, which makes me feel quite emotional. Parkinson touched on so many people, and I find it, quite extraordinary. And I touched on a lot of people photographing after he went to the West Indies to live. Parks was always terribly enthusiastic, encouraging about my photographs, and so it's a sort of mélange of experience, emotion, just history. It's great.